from new Headway Intermediate Unit 10. I hope that after watching this video things will be a bit clearer to you. We'll see. Right, let's start. By the end of this lesson, I'm sure you will know what the passive tense is. I certainly hope you'll be able to recognize when a sentence is passive and when it's active. And I want you to be able to form an active sentence from a passive and a passive from an active sentence. Okay? Right, let's go. Let's have a look. What is the passive? In Dutch, it's called the leidend vorm. And the passive is when the action is actually more important than the person. So the action is important. What you see down there is the logo of McDonald's, the famous logo we've mentioned in the past, where I've said to you, I'm loving it is not possible because love is a state verb. It is to love. I love it would be more correct, but it doesn't sound right these days. We're so used to McDonald's saying, I'm loving it. But what you see there is the active sentence, I'm loving it, has been converted into a passive sentence. It is being loved by me. Now, I don't think McDonald's would buy my new version of their logo at all, do you? Anyway, let's have a look at the active versus a passive sentence. So I already mentioned in an active sentence, who is important. So what you see here is an example sentence. The architect designed this school in 1848. Who? The architect. The passive, what is important? This school was designed in 1848. What? This school was designed in 1848. Okay? The passive, you can use all the tenses that you've learnt until now. So the passive can be used with all werkwoordsvormen, so all tenses. You also use it with a form of to be plus the past participle. Now, you weren't here to remind me, so I yet again had to look up what the past participle was in Dutch, and that's the voltooid deelwoord. Okay, but how do you recognize the passive and the active? Let's have a look at that. It's actually pretty easy. If you can put by zombies after the verb, then it more or less always means you have a passive tense. Okay? By zombies. For example, the first sentence. My bike was stolen last week. By zombies. Hey. It works. My bike was stolen last week by zombies. And the question would be what? And the answer is my bike. That therefore is a passive sentence. In the second sentence, you see somebody stole my bike last week by zombies. That doesn't work, does it? Somebody stole my bike last week. If I say what, you really can't answer it. You're looking at who here is the main question, and the answer is then somebody. So the second sentence is active. So how do you form the passive? Let's have a look. In the top row here, you see in blue, present simple, past simple, present perfect, and the will, future. Now, we already know the present simple you use for habits, the past simple for actions that have finished, the present perfect for something that began in the past and still is continuing even now, and the will, future, is used for the future tense. Here you have a form of to be, am, are, and is in the present, was and were in the past, have been and has been present perfect, and will be for the future. And what they all have in common is that they use the past participle. So you have a form of to be here, I am, plus the past participle. Was, past participle. Have been, past participle. Will be, plus the past participle. Okay? But how do you know which tense to use? Quite simply, you use the same tense as in the active sentence. So if you have the present simple in the active sentence, you use the present simple in the passive sentence. If you have the past simple in the active, you use the past simple in the passive, etc. Let's take a look at 5 steps to make an active sentence passive. Okay, 5 steps. Here we go. Step 1. You determine the object of the active sentence. In the yellow example there, I've underlined the object. The painter has painted all of our windows. The object is all of our windows. So step 1, determine the object. Step 2, you determine the time of the active sentence. And no, I don't mean 3 o'clock. I mean the time of the verb. So if we look here, the underlined bit, has painted, I recognize that as being the present perfect. The painter has painted all of our windows. Okay, has painted, present perfect is the time of the active sentence. Step 3, you conjugate the verb to be into the same time as the verb from step 2. Look, step 2, has painted, present perfect. So I need to put to be into the present perfect. It has to be in the same time. So what you see here, the present perfect of to be is has been or have been. I could go back to my chart and show you. Present perfect of to be is have been or has been. Okay? So have been or has been. Step 4. Find the past participle for the main verb in the active sentence. The painter has painted all of our windows. Has is an auxiliary verb, a hulpwerkwoord. Painted is then the main verb. To paint is the main verb. The past participle is painted. In this case, it was already there, painted, but that's not always the case. So the past participle of to paint is painted. Step 5, you don't always have to do it, is determine the person, if there is a person in the sentence already. Okay? Determine the person. Now let's have a look at it if we put it all together. So here, we started with the direct object, all of our windows, in blue. We put that here at the front of the sentence, all of our windows. We then had a look at has, present tense. The whole verb here was has painted, and that was the present perfect. So we had to put present perfect of the verb to be, which is have been. We looked at the main verb to paint, and we said we needed the past participle, which is then painted. We then had a look at the person, if necessary. In this case it's here, and it's the painter. So we say all of our windows have been painted, and we can say by the painter, but we don't need to, because we're putting emphasis on all of our windows. All of our windows have been painted by zombies or by the painter. Okay, now it's your turn. Here you see some examples, and what I want you to do is to have a look at them. Are they active? Are they passive? And I want you to rewrite each sentence for homework. So if you say the sentence is active, you make it into a passive sentence. If you say, that sentence is already passive, then you make it into an active sentence. Remember to keep the verb in the same tense. So number 1, Mrs. Taylor teaches English. Number 2, the IT network will be updated by Mr. Muskens. Number 3, the cleaner cleaned the blackboard last night. Number 4, computers will be installed at school by the IT men. Number 5, trees have been planted by the gardener. Okay, so rewrite the sentences into an active or a passive sentence and bring them with you to class. Good luck with it.